Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Drawing Fire Emblem Heroes. This week we got Lute, who's from the Sacred Stones, which is yet another game I've been unable to play as of now. Mainly because it's been pretty much impossible to find a copy of it, and if you do find a copy of it, it does go for quite a fair bit of money now, which is kind of sad as someone who loves game preservation. I do feel like all these older games being overpriced as they are now. So I just feel like all these older games being priced up now is just ridiculous because it prices people like me out, you know. Do we have about £210 to pay for Path of Radiance on the GameCube? I certainly don't, and I know a lot of other people don't. And people can say, oh, you can just emulate the games because Nintendo's not making any money off of this anymore, and it's so much easier just to emulate. Unfortunately, you are forgetting that some of us don't have powerful hardware to actually emulate games successfully, which is why I've not been able to play a lot of these older games, which is kind of sad because I would love to play Sacred Stones and all the Game Boy Advance games and the GameCube games as well. But with the prices going up for retro games, and not just Fire Emblem, you got Pokemon going up in price. Yeah, I know Persona's going up in price as well, which is such a shame because I know there are people out there who, you know, they've played Persona 3 Portable on the ports now, but obviously the ports aren't as good as the actual hardware, unfortunately. And with Portable, it basically cuts out the entirety of the answer, which to me, I think that's a good thing, but to some people, they want to, you know, complete the set, they want to have everything, they want to experience everything, so they need to play Fez, but especially in the UK and Europe, it's so hard to grab a hold of this copy of Fez because it just didn't sell well over here. I'm fortunate to have bought it before Persona really took off, because I bought this back in sort of 2015, 2016, and I managed to grab a European copy for £25, and if you ask anyone from Europe at the moment, they'll tell you that that is a very good price for it, because now it's going for upwards of £120, which is absolutely ridiculous, and that seems to be happening here with Fire Emblem as well. I know I've gone off on a tangent about how retro video game prices are absolutely ridiculous and astronomical for what you're getting. I mean, personally, I feel like retro games should really sell. I know you get rarer retro games, like, you know, maybe a sealed copy would go for a lot more, but like, if it's just a cartridge, you know, especially like a Game Boy game, I really don't think you should be selling it for anything over £30 because there's a shop over here in the UK called CEX. I will not pronounce it how they want to pronounce it because it's Computer Exchange. That is not how you pronounce that. It should be text, but they are currently selling a copy of Pokemon Ruby, you know, without a box or a manual or anything. Just the cartridge on its own for about £60, which to me is ridiculous. I got Pokemon Sapphire for free because, you know, a friend of the family didn't want to play it anymore and they gave it to me when I was very, very small. This is like 2004, so the game was still fairly new. Surprisingly, I didn't like it at first. I benched it for a while, but then I came back to it because I watched an episode of the anime and I was like, oh wow, this game is actually quite fun. So yeah, retro games, what can you do about it? Anyways, we got Lute. Lute's very self-centered, in my opinion. Very self-assured, thinks she's the best when really she isn't. I really need to play Sacred Stones. That game looks really cool. I mean, Leon, my boy. If you're gonna notice a trend in these videos where I like the bad guy, because I think the bad guys are always more fun. I mean, my favourite Three Houses character is Hubert because the guy's just suspicious for no reason other than he enjoys it. My favourite from Engage at the moment is Zelkov. He looks very shady and intimidating, but the guy's actually really sweet. That's going to be a trend. You know, I like these characters that are either quite misunderstood because of their appearances, or you know, they are the actual villains in certain routes, or they are the villain, full stop. And I don't know, I just like villains, man. They're fun. They have fun with what they do. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Hopefully we get a villain next week, because I would love to draw a villain. I've been waiting so patiently to either pull a Berkut or a Hubert or something. Please give me a villain. That's all I ask for. Anyways, yes, before I go off on another tangent about villains, I will see you all next week for another episode of Drawing Fire Emblem Heroes, where I'm slowly losing my mind. Thank you, and see ya!